morning or good afternoon, depending on whenever you click on this video. I'm wishing all of you a very blessed day or a blessed rest of your day. And you know what? A blessed rest of your week. Have a very good week. But anyways, let's talk about why you're here. And that is Ruri Dragon Chapter 2 that released yesterday in Weekly Shonen Jump. So to kind of get everybody up to speed, if this is for some reason the first time you're hearing about Ruri Dragon, this is the first time maybe you're clicking on one of my videos, maybe this is the first time you even see me talk about the series, this is a new manga series in Weekly Shonen Jump that came out last week, not this past weekend, but the weekend prior, and it's a brand new series, basically filling in the gap after, a few series got completely axed by Weekly Shonen Jump. Now, as I said in my first impressions I made, and if you haven't seen my first impressions, I highly recommend you to go watch it, because it's really good. I really kind of explain my overall thoughts, and how I feel about the manga's, first chapter. But, I just want to say that obviously this is a new series, and so because of that, do remember that anything can happen in the next, 8 to 10 weeks to where this manga potentially could get the axe by Weekly Shonen Jump. And as I've said, regardless of just maybe how many people in the West really love this manga, it really, at the end of the day, it's the Japanese readers over in Japan that really determine if the series is going to survive or not. So if it's not popular in Japan, the series is going to get axed, regardless if, for instance, a huge community potentially blows up in the West surrounding Ruri Dragon. So, just once again, do read this series at your own risk, because it could get axed. But okay, with that kind of doom posting out of the way, which is sad that I have to do that, let's talk about Chapter 2. So Chapter 2 of Ruri Dragon, as you can see, starts off with a color page, and it's absolutely beautiful. Like, I really like this color page. Now, I do want to point a few things out. I posted this color page yesterday talking about it on the YouTube community tab you guys probably saw, and I also talked about it on Twitter. When I look at this color page, it's beautiful. It's a very, very beautiful looking color page, okay? I like the colors of the flames, I like the way the hair is drawn, the horns, etc. It's really nice. But someone pointed out a few things to me that I actually cannot not see, like unsee anymore. And someone said that right here, Ruri Dragon, her right here, she literally looks like Power from Chainsaw Man. So let's look at, Chainsaw Man, and let's look at, for instance, Power, a color picture Power that really stands out. So look at the color palette here, and then look at the color palette of this. But then, let's go to Chapter 1's color page. So here's Chapter 1's color page, and just look at the way the mirror is with the toothbrush, etc. There is a very similar vibe, at least with the color and the tone and the way it's drawn. Like, if you just look at it, it's very, very similar. And I do wonder if this offer, since this is a new offer, by the way, if you had no idea, this is the first time that this offer has ever actually written a serialized manga. Like, they've only done one-shots up to this point, and so they're really fresh. They're fresh out of the oven in terms of actually creating a manga series that's going to be a weekly release. So I wonder if this offer was inspired by Chainsaw Man to any degree. Like, when you look at this real quick, it has that very similar tone and color palette. Could be wrong, just wanted to point that out. But anyways, so let's talk about Chapter 2. So Chapter 2 is See You at School, and it pretty much carries on the theme and the tone and the vibe and everything that, Chapter 1 pretty much gave us. And to kind of do a brief summary, like nothing too long, basically Chapter 1, our main female character, Ruri, she finds out that she's half dragon, half human, her father's a dragon, she's never met her father, typical plotline we would see in a manga, yes, but she, finds out she's a dragon, but there's something very off and different about this in Chapter 1, where people react to Ruri in a way to where they're not, like, mean, or they're not frightened of her, they just straight up, it's like they're very casual, relaxed, and chill about Ruri being a dragon, even though it's clear that there isn't a lot of fantasy creatures in this world from what we can see so far. So because of that, it makes you wonder, like, why is everybody just A-okay or not really reacting too extremely to Ruri being literally a half-dragon, having horns coming in, etc., what's going on there? And so it's a very weird tone, and that tone carries on into Chapter 2, as we can see here. There's, like, training, or at the very least learning, how to control your fire breath, which you can see here going on, but also how the town's reaction is to Ruri, and how they're very casual about it. So, let's get into that. So, one of the big things about new manga, like when manga is coming out, an author has to gather a fan base. They are coming out the gate, and they have to make themselves stand out, because they're fighting with a bunch of manga in Weekly Shonen Jump. They're, like, not just competing for, like, just maybe having a manga in the magazine. They're fighting with the big series that are already established. Like, they're fighting One Piece, they're fighting Black Clover, they're fighting My Hero Academia, they're fighting, Moshly, they're fighting, Undead Unluck, etc. They're fighting these series to try to gain attention in the magazine before they can be noticed. So it's very hard for these authors to really fight and gain an audience, because they're fighting already established series that has like hundreds of chapters on top of them. So it's like, how can I do something that really will stand out and make people interested in wanting to read my said story? And I feel like the way the author is taking this is actually very refreshing and distinct. And what I mean by that is, it's not the fact that it's slice of life, or fantasy slice of life, and has a half-dragon girl, etc. What makes this very unique, actually, and stands out in my eyes, is the fact that the overall perception of everyone in the world is relaxed and chill towards Ruri being a half-dragon. Now, at first glance, that might not seem like anything crazy or mind-blowing, but think about this. Normally in manga, when a character is kind of basically different / an outcast, like, you have a perfect setup here with Ruri, and basically, you have a perfect setup here where she could be bullied. Like it's perfectly set up. Like, normal manga, in a lot of ways it's written, you would have the entire class around Ruri start to, bully her. They would pick on her, point out her horns, say she may is a freak or ugly, whatever. You would see things like that. You would literally see in a lot of manga, and you have probably seen it if you have read any form of school-type manga, you would definitely see that if anyone is different, bullying, etc. And so, that's not happening. That actually has not happened whatsoever in this manga. In fact, like I said, it's very relaxed, it's very chill, and because of that, it breaks the mold. It's actually breaking the mold of the normal tropes and cliches. Like I said, it's nothing mind-blowing for the fact that she's not being picked on or bullied, etc., but the fact that the mangaka is making the world so relaxed, it gives that very inviting tone to it, where people feel like, man, like, this is just relaxing. I could just open this up, read it, and just be very relaxed. And obviously, the direction of the story can shift in the future. Maybe one day this could turn into a battle shonen. It may stay as a slice-of-life fantasy story. Who really knows? But the point is I do think that just the overall presentation of the first two chapters, especially chapter 2, is definitely going down a path that's different. And I think so far out of everything in the Shonen Jump magazine, this is distinct. This is a very distinct manga. And I feel like if it's able to hit a chord with Japanese audiences, this is definitely going to be very big. I am curious to see where that goes. Now, let's talk about other content besides that. So let's talk about Ruri and her training, kind of finding out more about her dad, etc. So if you see here, you have the mother basically talking with the father figure, the dragon. We could see a black silhouette. Now, I have been told by people that have read the one-shot of Ruri Dragon that apparently in the one-shot, Ruri meets her father. We get to actually see her father. And so I haven't read the one-shot, so I don't know anything of how he really looks, but I am curious to check out the one-shot. I don't know if I should, because it might spoil things, but I do think, though, that keeping the father figures, shadowed out, for instance, a black silhouette, it implies that there might be some major reveal in the future, something that's going to blow us away in terms of plot twist, etc. And I do honestly wonder, I honestly wonder if it's, dragons are super, super common in this world, because, like, okay, let's talk about this. You have, like, a granny right here. I'm going to scroll here. You have a segment where they go to meet, the grandma, Ruri's grandma, and as they're, like, going to meet, basically, you have it to where, she's like, we know about dragons. We've always known about dragons. Like, for instance, there's a clinic that basically is aware of dragons. And it's clear that there is a lot of people that is aware of dragons. And even though we found out in the first chapter that, Ruri's childhood friend doesn't believe in dragons or whatever, that they exist or whatever, apparently a lot of people know dragons exist. So something's going on in this town. Something is going on in this world to where, like, I don't know, maybe there's a secret with dragons. Maybe they have this ability to just keep people relaxed when they're around. I mean, who really knows? Dragons are mythological mystery beings, mysterious beings. They can do whatever, basically, depending on how the story wants to take it. So who knows? I mean, it's very possible that Ruri is, able to have this effect on people to where they won't freak out. Who knows? But, like I said, it's a relaxing series. I think anyone that wants a truly relaxing story about a half-dragon girl, there you go. Now, so far with the way the plot and tone is, it's more of Ruri trying to discover who she is. Basically, discovering what her new talents are, traits, and, what she might get as a dragon as she continues to grow up. I mean, judging by how these things go, it might be eventually she might grow a tail, she might eventually start to have maybe claws or something. I am curious because so far there's nothing dark about the story, but it could go down that path. Like I said, we just have yet to see. But I guess I'll leave it at that. It's a good series. I am really looking forward to Chapter 3 to come out, and I really hope that this series catches on in Japan, because I feel like this really does have a lot of potential, but we'll see. But anyways, if you enjoyed my video and you enjoyed my overall reaction / impressions of Ruri Dragon so far, and you want to see more of me doing of these videos, like for the manga, please leave me a like, leave me a comment down below letting me know. It does help me out a lot. But with that, guys, be safe, stay healthy, Chibi out.